Hey everyone, thank you for joining me. So as you guys can see here on the workbench, I have a 4Max that is disassembled. And this is the Italian-made 4Max with 20 CV steel blade. So a great steel. Now as you guys can see, this is pretty darn used. And the owner put, or attempted, I assume, to put a Scandi grind on this. So basically I'm going to be doing quite a bit of reshaping on the whole knife. So it's going to look a lot different than your standard 4Max. So again, a lot of shaping on the handles. And if you guys don't know, the Italian-made 4Max has titanium liners. So these will be getting anodized a certain color to go with the stabilized green maple here, which I think is a beautiful material. It's got some nice chatoyancy, so you guys can see right there. Really love this color. Now the reason this material is already started and I have the holes drilled out is because I was trying to get this knife finished before Blade Show at Atlanta. Unfortunately I messed up on one, which set me back a few days. And I really didn't want to rush the process and really kind of force myself to finish this, because typically when I rush it doesn't turn out nice. So I ended up not getting it done before Blade Show, but that's okay. The customer understood, and I'm going to be able to take my time now and make this just perfect. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update before we head into the customization part of the video, but that's where I'm at with this. So let's get to it, and we'll talk more about it once it's finished. Now that we're up in the studio, we can take a closer look at what I did to this knife. And we're going to start off with the scales, which is a beautiful stabilized maple. And I really, really love that chatoyancy, as you guys can see right there, how it just has that really, really cool effect. It almost looks like it lights up in the right light from dark to that bright green. I just think it looks really, really good. Now, I did do different bevels around the whole knife. So on the top, I kept it the same, and towards the back, a little bit more steep because of the pocket clip. But underneath where you put your fingers, especially here by the finger choil, I went pretty large, so it's super comfortable in hand, and same in the back here. But up in the front, I did a wider bevel, kind of tapered down towards the tip here. So that way when you do a pinch grip, you have more surface to pinch down onto. And I'll show you guys that once this thing is all assembled. Then I also did a pretty large bevel here on this front finger choil, which allows you to get a more comfortable grip. So again, I'll show you that up close once it's assembled. I went ahead and anodized the titanium liners, a nice gold. You can see here what oil does to anodized titanium. It definitely tarnishes it a bit, but nothing a little Windex can't fix. But the customer and I wanted to put a little golden touch on this thing, and we thought the liners were a perfect fit. Same with the pocket clip, but really nice contrast with that green. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there is a secondary hole here. So the original stop pin went in this upper hole here, but since I shortened the finger choil here on the blade itself, I had to relocate that stop pin so that it doesn't hit the backspacer. So I had to find the right spot. It took a little bit of time, but I got the secondary hole to fit the stop pin just right. So here is that stop pin, or internal stop pin. So it fits beautifully in there, and it functions perfectly. As you guys saw in the video, I reshaped the back of the handle since the customer wanted to just make it look a little different. And keep in mind, this knife was sent to me to basically save it from what it used to look like. This was our way of saving it, so just wanted to make it look better and put new life into this thing. The blade was a little interesting because it was really, really rough, so I figured this was the best way to make it look good. So as you guys saw in the customization part of the video, all I did to this Scandi grind was evened out the grind all the way to the tip. You can kind of see it in the right light, but I did my best to save it and make it look good. Now, I was going to etch this blade, but I really liked the satin finish. It's not the best satin finish, but I really like that satin finish and aggressive stonewash. And I think it's a really good contrast against the gold and the green. Gave it a fresh, aggressive cutting edge, and this thing is super sharp. And then the scalloped texture on the spine, the lock bar spine, and then the backspacer spine. And then I heat anodized these thumb studs that I found in my scrap bin that fit perfectly on this knife. So really happy about that. And of course gave the blade a harpoon shape, just because I think a harpoon is a good looking shape for a blade. But that's the blade itself. Here is the lock bar with that same scallop texture. I left the jimping here on these sections just because I really like it. I think it looks good. Gave this a stone wash as well. The backspacer, which is titanium, this took quite a bit of time since titanium doesn't like to be worked on with high speeds, especially from the Dremel. So I had to go lower speed and get this done, but really happy with that. Also gave this a stone wash, and of course reshaped it to match the liners and the scales. I went ahead and stone washed the titanium clip and then anodized it gold to match the liners. I gave all the hardware a satin finish. As you can see here, just really has a cool effect in the light and really complements everything else. I almost forgot, I had to put a small piece of G10 here where the pin goes, or the pivot pin goes through. You can see it's a D shape here at the top, but I did put the D shape into the wood, but it was so soft the D shape just went right through. So my solution was to put that 1/16 inch G10. I put the D shape in the G10, and now it can't spin, so it is locked in, and that was my way around it just to make it a lot stronger. But enough talking about it, let's put this thing together and see what it looks like. And here it is all assembled. Really, really love that green. I think it looks really good. Love the chatoyancy. There it is with the pocket clip. Again, little Windex will bring that back to life. A really nice gold. And then the nice contrast between those gold liners with that green and the satin or the stone wash finish on everything else. Of course, I continued it all the way around, and it just has a nice continuous look. I really love how the light bounces off of that scallop texture. But let's check this thing out opened up. This is a big knife, so it's going to be able to handle a lot. I do personally love the 4-Max Scout. Again, this is the 4-Max, the Italian made, but I am a big fan of the 4-Max Scout. I think it's a great knife by Cold Steel. Here's the pocket clip side opened up. And then here is the show side. But here is a top view of that scallop texture from the spine of the blade to the lock bar all the way to the back spacer. A lot of time on that back spacer since it is titanium, and this thing is still very, very smooth. I went ahead and took the internals or the washers from my 4-Max Scout to make this thing a lot smoother. But you can still drop shut it with one hand and let that finger choil hit your finger. It's an easier way to do it with a back lock, but still very, very smooth. As always, let me know down below what you guys think of how this thing turned out. The ergos were very, very important to me, so made sure those bevels were super comfortable. Again, very wide here in the front, which taper. Again, you get that nice pinch grip, and it's just a lot more comfortable on the fingers or in hand. Even choking up on this front finger choil feels really, really good on the fingers, and you can get super close to that cutting edge, so you can get more controlled cuts. Really, really solid. And I made sure to make the back section comfortable because you can choke back actually on this knife and get some good chopping motions. But you get a really, really good grip right here in the back. You can see right there. And just bear down on that thing. And I made sure the pocket clip was low enough to not really bother you in hand, but then also high enough to slip into pocket a lot easier. The 4-Max Scout, or just the 4-Max, the pocket clips aren't the greatest, but this one works pretty good since I messed with it a little bit, so definitely feels a lot better and functions a lot better too. But there is the custom Cold Steel 4-Max Italian version. Just want to make sure I specify on that. Really fun project. Again, love the green with the gold. Please let me know down below what you think. As always, thank you very much for the support, and I will see you guys on the next one.